I'd like to welcome you all to our Emerging Leaders Breakfast. We have a fantastic program set up today with an amazing team of people that are going to be talking about some future leadership opportunities. I'd like to make a couple of announcements as we progress through. The first one is we will be recording today's presentation. So this will be available at later times if you would like to be able to reference this in the future, plus also be able to hear our fantastic keynote speaker once again. A couple of people I also want to be able to recognize that is really, well, actually one person I want to recognize that's really going to be able to make sure today happens very well is Bill Lapp. Bill is our tech person. You'll see him up on your screen. Bill is the Zoom host master, and he's going to be the one that's going to be helping us out as you're going through. There will be a portion of today that we will be turning off the chat, just so that way we can be able to focus on our keynote and not have the disruption of the talking back and forth. But there will be an opportunity for question and answers as we go throughout the day. Also joining us today, we have, I believe, just 2 or 3 trio members. I see we have Jose Preciado with us, our district director. So thank you so much for joining us, Jose. Then we also have Suzanne Leonard, our program quality director, joining us. So thank you so much for joining us today, Suzanne. And I also see we do have some of our division directors and area directors. So I really appreciate everybody coming on. And I look forward to having a fantastic program. I'd actually like to start first with our Pledge of Allegiance. So give me 1 second here real quick. I'm going to share my screen. And if you could at this time, please join me under the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
republic for which
it stands, one
nation
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Great, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Just to kind of tell you a little bit about how today is going to be going. Today's program, we're going to start off with our keynote speaker. He's a fantastic leader and somebody I had the amazing pleasure to be able to work with last year. He is currently, and you'll be able to hear a little bit more about it, but he is the immediate past district director. We'll be starting off with his keynote. After his speech, then from there, we'll be able to have a little bit of question and answer period with Ken. You can be able to pick his brain and talk about some leadership. Then from there, we'll go on a break. After break, we will then have a panel discussion. And we have an amazing DLC team this year. Representing Division A is Tammy Lapp. Division B is Ray Robles. Division C is Esther Pafla. Division D is Angie Nett. And Division E is Daryl Zeller. You're going to have an opportunity to be able to have a question and answer. We will be going through a panel discussion with them, really to be able to understand the different levels of leadership and how you can look at expanding your leadership journey within Toastmasters. And then at the end, we'll then be able to have this uploaded. So that way, if you know somebody that may be interested or whatever, you will be able to share this with them on our YouTube channel. I will also be uploading a little bit later a link to all the forms for anybody that is so inspired to take on leadership roles. You'll be able to download the forms today, be able to find out information about each one of the roles, and also just any information that you need, and you can send those to me and I can help you through the process. With that, we're going to get started on our presentation for today. As I said, I had the opportunity to be able to work with Ken last year. And it's been an amazing journey last year, especially having to go through COVID. We had quite a lot of different challenges. And so it's my huge honor whenever I had the opportunity to be able to start planning this with Jose, there was one person I had in mind, because Ken had an opportunity to not only work through COVID, but also build an amazing team relationship last year. And I think that's really special. That's a challenge, as we all know, sometimes with teams. And the relationship he had with his team is amazing. So with that, we're going to get started with our keynote speaker. So Ken Starks has been a member of Toastmasters for 13 years. He has started his leadership journey as Vice President of Education for Soaring Eagles, Toastmasters in 2007. He has served multiple terms in the club officer roles, including president. In 2019, he was elected as District 1 Director, one of the oldest districts in Toastmasters International. Having served as district director, he is convinced Toastmaster is the ultimate leadership development program. There is nothing he loves more than sharing his experience for the joy of public speaking with others. He's here today to remind you that life is short and opportunities are plentiful. Help me welcome immediate past district director, distinguished Toastmaster, Ken Starks.
Thank you, Mr. Immediate Past District Director. The year is 3030. You're walking down the street and suddenly a genie appears. He's not there to grant you 3 wishes. He's there to make you an offer. Would you accept or decline this offer? You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you accept or decline? What do you think? Wow. 50-50 District 12. So half of you said yes, and half of you declined. It's actually pretty interesting. I thought the numbers would be slightly different, but it puts you in a really good position at 50-50. But now let me ask you another question. In the chat box, I want you to use 2 words or less and describe your motivation for your answer, whether you accepted or declined. Describe with 2 words or less your motivation for your answer. You have 7 seconds. Freedom, happiness, yes. Service, absolutely. It is the ultimate service to be the President of the United States. That's right, why not? Why not? Change, leadership, mucho pressure. Yes, it is. So I see a lot of responses coming in, and all of your responses are valid sentiments regarding the question. But for those of you who declined this opportunity, I want you to explore a little bit further your response and your motivation for your response. Just explore it a little bit further and ask yourself, why? Just ask yourself. But let me ask you a different question. If you were presented with the opportunity of a lifetime, would you accept? Would you drop everything you're doing to take advantage of that opportunity? Would you be able to recognize that it's an opportunity of a lifetime? You see, opportunity isn't always obvious. It doesn't always show up in a black stretched limousine wearing a white sequence dress looking like Beyonce with long flowing luxurious hair. It may not show up riding a Harley Davidson with Metallica playing in the background. It's not always glamorous. Opportunity is discreet. It operates covertly. It comes when you least expect it, and it's easy to miss. Thomas Edison said, most people miss opportunity because it comes dressed in overalls and it looks like work. We must develop the habit of saying yes, because opportunity is waiting for you to get off the bench and get in the game. I never wanted to be the District 1 director. When I first joined Toastmasters, I joined because I wanted to challenge my fear of public speaking. I never had a desire to be district director. Until one day I was having breakfast with a group of friends at this upscale swanky restaurant in Los Angeles. You may have heard of it. It's called Denny's. And as friends do, we sat around debating trivial matters. Like my friend asked me, what are you gonna order? And I said, I like the Southwest Scramble. He said, why do you always get the Southwest Scramble? I said, because I like the Southwest Scramble. And he said, well, why don't you order something different? I said, because I like the Southwest Scramble. And then I asked him, well, what are you gonna order? And he said, I think I'm gonna get that Southwest Scramble because it actually looks pretty good here on the menu. And I said, it's a good choice. That's a good choice. So we sat around and we talked for a little while. We debated, we caught up on current events and what was going on in each other's lives. And then after about an hour and a half, we went into the parking lot and then we stood and talked for another hour and a half. You ever have that? You're sitting around with your friends, you're having a good time, and then you take your conversation from a place where it's nice and warm to outside where it's nice and cold, and everyone's standing around shivering, continuing the conversation. But that's because we enjoy each other's company. So finally, everyone had left except me and one of my other friends, and we're standing there talking. And then he said to me, we think you would be a good program quality director. And then I said, who's we? The San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors? I mean, who is we? And he said, well, we think that you would make a good program quality director. That, ladies and gentlemen, was opportunity. Knocking. Didn't recognize it at the time. But in looking back on that moment, that was opportunity knocking. So I told my friend, I said, well, you know what? Let me have some time to think about it. I'll get back to you in a week. And so I began doing some homework, searching the Toastmasters International website to find out more about the duties and responsibilities of the program quality director. And I also called some friends that I trusted, that I knew could give me some good feedback. And so I called one particular friend and I said to her, I said, you know, I'm thinking about running as the program quality director. And, you know, I want to know what you think. And like a true Toastmaster, she took an 8-second pregnant pause. And then she said, well, you know, it's a 3-year commitment. And I was thinking to myself, no, I'm just going to do 1 year and then I'm going to be done. I've already done a couple of I've been an area director, a division director. I'm just going to do 1 more year. And then she began to explain that if you're elected as the program quality director, then you're going to be expected to become the district director. And then you become the immediate past district director. I called my friend a week later and I told them that I was in. You see, ladies and gentlemen, opportunity may not be behind door number 1. It may not be behind door number 2. It may not be behind door number 3. But you can't get to door number 4 unless you walk through door number 1, number 2, and number 3. I never saw the role of district director coming until that day I had that conversation with my friend. But I said yes many years ago when I signed up as an area director. That was door number 1 for me. I didn't know it at the time, but that was door number 1. You see, we spend so much time saying no to learning, saying no to growing, saying no to developing, saying no to new relationships, and saying no to potentially the opportunity of a lifetime. For me, it was district director. But what is it for you? It may be you finding that business partner that you've been looking for in order to start your business. Or it may be a relationship. You'll never know until you walk through that door. We must develop the habit of saying yes, because opportunity is waiting for you to get off the bench and get in the game. My experience as a district director was unbelievable. I could talk all day long about lessons that I've learned from being the District 1 director. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to share with you a few things that I've learned that blew my mind about this organization when I became district director. Number one, the support system in Toastmasters is endless. It is endless. When I signed up as an area director, I knew that I had expanded my support system, and there were other members of my club, members of the district executive committee that was there to support me. But it's far greater than that. District 12 has a history and a legacy of leadership, a long line of area directors, division directors, district directors, program quality directors who would love nothing more than to sit down and talk to you about Toastmasters and about the benefits of this wonderful organization. The day I was elected as program quality director, a good friend of mine, she came up to me and she said, "I'm gonna tell you what someone told me when I first joined Toastmasters." She said, "They said that no matter where you are on this journey, there's always a Toastmaster somewhere waiting to hold your hand and walk you through it." And that has been my experience in Toastmasters. Their support system have taught me and have strengthened my understanding of what it means to provide support, or what it means to be part of a support system. The second thing that blew my mind about being a part of this organization that I really didn't understand until I became a district director is that each and every one of you are part of a global community. As I was attending my club meetings, it was fun. I could see the benefits, but it wasn't until I stepped into the international convention where you're among thousands of people from 144 countries. It is an amazing experience to be among such a diverse group of people who all have like minds in terms of their love for Toastmasters. It is an amazing experience. I, to this day, in fact, a couple of days ago, I got an email from a guy named Harry in District 114, East Africa. I met him at the International Convention, and we talked, we ate, we had a good time, we talked about Toastmasters. He sent me an email asking me to be a part of a team that he's now on. You're part of a global community. You, at this moment, can attend meetings that are in Sri Lanka, Germany, Beijing, China, India, Australia. You're part of that community. Embrace it and use it to your benefit. So I learned that being a part of Toastmasters also gives me the ability to have a global impact. The third thing that I've learned from being a part of Toastmasters is that Toastmasters is a great place to fail. It's a great place to fail. In fact, you have so many people that are invested in your success that it's really hard to fail. But if you must, this is the place to do it. You'll learn from that experience, and what you have learned from that experience, you will take into the real world, apply those lessons to businesses, to the work that you're doing in the real world. So it's almost impossible to fail, but if you're gonna fail, this is a great place to fail. But for those of you who are thinking about failure, and may be a little afraid of failing. In fact, if failure is one of those things that may be keeping you from chasing after your dreams, or keeping you from accepting an opportunity of a lifetime, I wanna share with you the words of a guy by the name of Greg Lavoie. He is the author of a book, it's called Callings, Finding and Following an Authentic Life. And he says that if you are not failing regularly, you are operating so far below your potential that you're failing anyway. So District 12, don't be afraid to fail. But if you must, this is a great place to do it. So the year is 2021. You're walking down the street, or in 2021, you might be sitting on the couch, binge watching season 4 of The Simpsons. Nevertheless, a genie appears. Say yes, and watch what happens. District 12, it has been an absolute pleasure. I am ecstatic to have had the opportunity to be with you today. I wish you all the best. And if there's anything I can ever do for any of you, just please reach out to me. Mr. Pass, District Director.
Great. Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was fantastic words. Really, really spot on for what we were looking for, and I really appreciate everything. Now, normally at this time, we would all be sitting face to face, and I would be presenting Ken with a gift. So Ken, just know that you'll be seeing something later on today, but we'll be making a donation to the Ralph Smedley Fund in your honor for spending the morning with us and doing that. So we really appreciate you coming out. As I said, Ken last year being district director had many challenges, but him and his team really were able to navigate through those amazingly and with such grace and everything. So it's a huge honor to have you come out here and just kind of pass on some of your knowledge and leadership skills to everybody. And I'd love for you to stay and join us. We're going to be going on break here for a couple minutes, just so that way everybody can get some more coffee and get ready for our next part of our event. You're more than welcome to join us. We're going to go on for about, we'll say at 35. So we'll have 12 minutes. That way, if you need to get a double shot of espresso, you got a couple extra minutes. But we'll come back on at 9:35. So I'll open up the chat, and then we'll start going into our panel discussion with our team. Okay, so I'll see you guys then. See you at 9:35. Thank you. Once again, I want to welcome everybody. We are now going to move on to our question and answer period. We're going to kind of have a panel discussion. So joining Ken today on our panel discussion, as I said, we have 5 people that are on the DLC team. And that's going to be Tammy Lapp, Ray Robles, Esther Pafla, Angie Nett, Daryl Zeller. They're going to be joining us today. So I'm going to have them introduce each one of themselves real quick, just tell you a little bit about their leadership. And then from there, we're going to start our panel discussion. I'll kick it off with a question. If you could raise your hand, I will go down the participants list and I will call on each person individually. We'll try to have some sort of organized chaos as we go through this and really just enjoy each other's company and listen to these fantastic leaders tell us about what opportunities may be available for you. All righty, we'll start off with Tammy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Lapp. I am the past Division A Director and currently the Public Relations Manager for District 12.
Great, thank you so much, Tammy. All right, Ray Robles.
Good morning all. Happy Saturday. My name is Ray Robles. As Jeremiah indicated, I am the current administrative manager for the district. I'm a past area director for the High Desert. Really enjoying the position, learning an awful lot. You never stop learning. I'm going to continue to learn as long as I'm here walking this planet. I will continue to learn. And again, the position that Toastmasters provides does provide that very opportunity. Even when we fail, we still are learning. So thank you very much, Jeremiah.
Great. Thank you so much, Ray. All righty, Esther.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Let's see, the positions that I've served in, I have been an area governor, which is now area director, division governor, which is now division director. I've served as the district secretary, which is now admin manager. I've been a club growth director, program quality director, and ultimately district director. I am currently serving with Tammy on her public relations team. In the past, I've served with the New Clubs team as the New Club mentor chair. And I'm also part of the past district governors directors advisory committee. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Oh, thank you. Wow, that's a large resume to follow up, but you know, I know we have some people, but that's definitely Angie.
Hi, Jeremiah, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Angie Nett, and I have served in several roles from area governor, as Esther mentioned. It's now area director, newsletter editor, public relations officer, lieutenant governor of marketing, which is currently your club growth director role, program quality director, district director, immediate past district director, which is also a great leadership growing journey. And I am currently serving as the past district governor / director liaison. We meet regularly with the trio, and we're just there to help wherever we can. As Ken mentioned, you don't always see when opportunity presents itself. However, when somebody comes up to you because they see your talents and your strengths, and they say, I think you'd be a great program quality director, you should listen because they see something in you, and you should take them up on that leadership journey because you will learn so much. And as Ken said, you won't get to door number 4 unless you go through 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Great job. Thank you. All righty. And the last one on our panel, last but definitely not least, is Daryl Zeller. Daryl.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And to all you neophytes out there, I say welcome. I call you neophytes because I joined Toastmasters in November of 1980. So I am probably the longest serving member of Toastmasters in this whole group. But as far as leadership roles, all the club officers except VPPR. As far as the area governor, 3 times, division governor, LGM, LGET, district governor, district treasurer twice. So I've been serving a lot of different roles, and I can guarantee you, you do learn in each one of them. I happen to feel very honored by being able to say that I have learned more since I was the district governor than I did throughout all my leadership roles. Now, I can guarantee you that what Ken said was 100% true. You don't need to succeed all the time, but you can really succeed by failing. For example, 3 times since I was a district governor, I've been named Toastmaster of the Year for the district. I've received a presidential citation. So ladies and gentlemen, I succeeded by failing. And you can do that too, or you can succeed by succeeding. So ladies and gentlemen, the opportunity is yours. Go ahead and take it. Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. All righty. As you can see, we have a very well and very knowledgeable and experienced panel. So I'm going to start off with my first question, and then from there we'll open it up to everybody. You are more than welcome to ask anybody in the panel the question directly, or you could ask them just in general, and one of them could take it on. And we're just going to kind of move through today. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with Ken, actually. Ken, could you please tell us what resources were available to you to help you succeed as in any of these leadership roles?
Wow, it's a great question, and I think there's many resources, which is part of my challenge, because what's going on through my head is I'm just going through my whole Rolodex of resources, which includes the people who are part of my immediate circle, which are in my club, in my district. But then beyond that, you have Toastmasters International, where you can send an email or you can pick up the phone and you can have a conversation with someone who is an expert in the area in which you may have questions. So it didn't matter where I looked for the answer. If I couldn't find it there, then there was always somewhere else that I could look and find the answer. And if it wasn't there, then I could look somewhere else and find the answer. And if it wasn't there, it was always through a conversation with someone who had been experienced in Toastmasters, who gave me advice. So I find that not just within your immediate circle, also Toastmasters International. Toastmasters International website has a wealth of information. 121 districts in this organization. Every single last one of them has web pages. There are also resources for you. The resources are just endless. And so I think once you start to get involved and you begin searching out support and assistance, you'll begin to learn that it's so much more there. It's like, an iceberg. You look at it from a distance and you say, oh, that's cool. But when you look under the surface, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, this thing is amazing. So, but it starts with doing your homework and doing your research first.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you. Angie, you're actually the chair for our District 12 PDG group. So could you talk a little bit about those resources that are available also, and some of the resources that were available to you as you were doing your leadership journey?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeremiah. The past district governor director group is really a fantastic group of people that have already been in your shoes. They can help you work through some of the problems that you may have. They're always available. Their names are in our directory. However, if you need to reach someone, you can always contact me. My name's in the directory and my email address. But this is a group that is very diverse, for one. And we've all had different challenges to work through during our leadership roles. We may have already experienced them. And like everyone has mentioned here today, there's always a Toastmaster out there to lend a hand. And it actually reminds me of a comment that I will never forget. We were having our installation ceremony back when I was going to be installed as a lieutenant governor of marketing. And I asked my mother to join. And we were all sitting at our table. And you know how a Toastmaster event goes, where there's a lot of last minute things that either didn't seem to get done, or something has happened where you're now up against a challenge, like the food isn't going to be here on time or something. And everyone started coming up and asking each other for a little help here and there. And my mother was literally like, and she looked at me and said, wow, Toastmasters help each other. Because she's in several different organizations, and often it's a struggle to get help. But in District 12, we have a long list of past district directors and governors that are willing to help. They're always available, and you can reach out anytime. And aside from that, and aside from this group that I chair, area directors, division directors, past PR folks, past secretaries or administration managers, they're all there to help you. So if you can save a few of those directories, you can always see who's been in your role in the past. Reach out to them and ask them a few questions. Toastmasters are never without helpful people. Jeremiah, did that answer your question?
That did. Thank you so
All right.
much. Thank you. All righty. Fantastic. So let's go to move on to our next question. And I'm going to ask Tammy this one. So how much time does it take in each leadership role, do you feel?
For the division director role, which I fulfilled last year, it took daily focus. I would just say that. I targeted, since I had 23 clubs in my area, I targeted visiting 2 to 3 clubs a week, only because I felt as a division director, it would help me. I think by the experience, you learn as much as you lead. And by visiting the different clubs and having a presence, it was important to me to be able to do that. So with that, coupled with my normal club meetings, and then making sure that I was in constant contact with my area directors to ensure we were on point for certain goals and targets that we needed to reach throughout the year. It does take daily focus to make sure. The number of hours is hard to equate to because, again, some weeks are heavier than others, but you definitely have to plan. I would say the biggest thing for me, the biggest success I had was trying to plan out my year and my targets so that I knew exactly what I needed to do within a week's time and how much time I needed to dedicate to that task.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. What about Esther? Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the time that's required for some of the different roles too, and some of the more advanced leadership positions?
Wow, the time required. I think it's up to each individual how you approach each role. For me, I believe in breaking things down in little chunks to avoid being overwhelmed and knowing what's ahead of me. I'm a list, I write lists, and day by day, I try to follow that. If I know that I am to complete this by a specific time frame, I look ahead, okay, do I have time in my calendar to get this done? So that's how it helped me. And the funny part is that in each one of these roles, just when you think you got it, it's time for you to wrap up and move on. So my advice would be, take a look at what's required of each role. We have district leadership handbooks, just like at the club level, we have a club leadership handbook. Take a look at that. What do you need to accomplish to be a successful leader in that particular role? You don't have to emulate another person. Be yourself, work with your schedule, and then follow what's required of you, deliver, stick to your word, and manage your time. We talk a lot about time management. And if you can manage that, you will see, you will avoid being overwhelmed, you will enjoy what you're doing, and eventually move on. Sometimes people think, oh, you went through all these roles, where did you get the time? Because I made the time, you make the time. When you make the time, time expands to fulfill all your responsibilities, and you get to enjoy what you're doing without feeling like, I cannot wait to be done with this role. So manage your time accordingly, use your calendars. Nowadays, we have devices with us. We have all kinds of things available, not things, tools available at our exposure. And if you take a look at it, area director, for example, if you know that I have to complete my club visits in November, why wait for November? You've been in the role since July 1st. Can you accomplish it by October at least, or by September at least? If you have officer training, can you take a look at that? Are all my clubs trained? And try to communicate that in a timely fashion. You know that August is the deadline for all of them, even though we have our TLIs in Toastmasters Leadership Institute in June. But can you squeeze it in somewhere in July? Once a week, take a look at what you need to do. It doesn't have to be a daily task, fellow Toastmasters. I can assure you, this is doable. And it's so much fun when you're done with it. and you can put it on your beautiful resume. People have received jobs using Toastmasters. Do you know that?
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you. Fantastic. All righty. We do have a question from the audience. Sharon Kenty. Sharon, go ahead. The floor is yours.
For the sake of the newbies on this call, what are the leadership roles that we're talking about in the district, and what do they do in a nutshell?
Daryl, do you want to take that question?
Sure, I'll go ahead and take that question. The first role that you really need to look at is area director. And that is where you are overseeing 4 to 6 clubs and trying to make sure that they meet and that they fulfill their responsibilities of meeting the needs of the members and getting new members, retaining the members. That is a very definite responsibility. Now, officially, and I say this is dead wrong, but officially, we need to visit our clubs once every 6 months. Bull. What I suggest you to do, as soon as you find out you're going to be the area director, contact that club and say, I'm going to be your area director come the 1st of July. Would you like me to come in and install your officers? Or when would you like me to install the officers? And not just visit them that one time, visit them at least every other month, because that is something that will really build a bond between you and the club and help that club be distinguished. Then we talk about the division directors. This is where you have 4 to 6 areas underneath you, and you are trying to work with the area directors, keep them focused on what their responsibilities are and keep them motivated to make sure that their areas get to be distinguished. From there, we go to the club growth director. And this to me is the hardest job. And that is where you are trying to expand the number of clubs, retain all of the clubs that you have, and expand the number of clubs to be able to meet the idea that we are here to help everyone, not just our own personal friends. From there, you go to the program quality director, where you plan the educational program. You focus on trying to make sure that everybody is going properly. And pathways is a great one. You also do your leadership. For example, you do organize the TLIs, the training. Then you get to be the district director. And the district director just needs to coordinate. Now, when I was district director, I decided email was the way to go. Wrong. Email is good, but follow it up with the personal touch with the phone calls, because I actually had a division director who, after the year was over, complained to one of the past district governors that I had ignored her because I had only sent her 17 emails and not a single phone call, just because she moved and changed her phone number, never did bother to tell me that. That was not the problem. I should have followed up with somebody who was very close to her to find out what the phone number is and then made the contact. So those are some of the jobs. And actually, those are the ones that you're elected to, well, the division and up you're elected to. But then you have your district finance officer, your district administrative officer, and your logistics manager. Those are all different positions that are available. And ladies and gentlemen, I really suggest that you do plan on doing those. Oh yes, I did forget to mention the one job that I have completely abstained from in my 40 plus years of being in Toastmasters, and that is your public relations manager. Whether it's at the club level, division level, or district level, it is one of the most important jobs to be able to get the word on out, to make sure that everybody knows that we are available to help them if they are wanting to have the help. I hope that answers the question that you had, Sharon.
Great. Thank you so much, and fantastic questions. All righty. We have another question. Anna,
Yes, I don't know who to give it to.
that's fine. I can put it to somebody if you don't know. Absolutely.
Perfect, yeah. Well, my question is, when you have served a position, one of the highest positions, did you ever thought, oh, I should have done this position before serving as this current position because I don't feel prepared to do the job?
Okay, great. Angie, do you want to take that question?
We're
My goodness, I was just thinking, I don't know how to answer that one.
Oh, well, I mean, does anybody else on the panel?
I
want
can
to-
tell you one thing. I have not been a division director. And there were times when I was district director that I thought it would have been good to be a division director. However, I don't feel that I really missed out on leading that group because I understand the structure of everything. And if you, as Esther mentioned earlier, read everything that we have available on all of the roles. And I think that it was okay, but upon occasion, I would think, oh, maybe I should have served as that. And to follow up on something Daryl said, there's a role that I will never take. He will never take public relations. I've served public relations probably every year that I've been in Toastmasters. I will not take treasurer. I want to leave the money to everyone else. And that was actually the challenge for me as district director, because you have quite a budget to deal with. And again, it's great to have Toastmasters that you can fall upon, and Toastmasters International for those sorts of things. But I would like somebody else to answer this question also.
I think Daryl also had an answer to this question too. Daryl, do you want to add on to that?
Okay, thank you. I was told, and this was something been passed on many years, you are never prepared for the job. You never know what the job is going to be until after you have taken the job. There might have been one exception to that, and that was Esther. She was completely prepared, I think, for the job when she was elected to be the district governor or a district director, but she was very definitely prepared. Most of us are not prepared. We do not really know what the job entails until we are 3 or 4 months into the job. So I say that it's normal not to feel like you're ready. It is definitely normal, but you will get ready after you've taken the job.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much. All righty. Great question. Ralph, you have a question. Ralph, you're on mute.
Rookie mistake. All right. Thank you, Jeremiah. My question is, the applications for district leader positions are currently being taken. Can anyone tell me when the interview by the district leadership committee will take place?
So I will take care of this question, and we will be contacting all applicants whenever after they fill it out, and once we have all the positions filled, then we will be contacting all applicants. But interviews will be in the month of February. For anybody that's interested, we will be conducting all those interviews, and we will be reaching out to them in the future for anybody. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Let's go on to our next question. Who influenced you, and why did you decide to begin your leadership journey? Ray?
Thank you, Jeremiah. My influencers were actually, it's been a number of years. When I first exited the military, I joined Toastmasters as a means of expression, as a means of growing. Innately, I had this intuitive idea that that's probably something that I needed to explore and check into, and so I did. And the club, which no longer exists, it's a very, very old club up here in the high desert. And unfortunately, I think the majority, if not all, of those members have since passed on. At the time, even the area governor or director as it is now was in the particular club, those were heavy influencers on me. They were so darn professional and so guiding and so supportive that influenced me to stay in the club longer. Unfortunately, I had left the country for a bit. And so when I came back, I did not rejoin for several years. Once I did, I've been in it since. But those early influencers, those early Toastmasters were among the brightest, the greatest Toastmasters that I had ever encountered. So to this day, they've influenced me to continue to grow, to continue to learn, to continue to work with others and share with others as they shared with me. They were supportive of me. The only drawback I had is that they made me the president 6 months after I joined the club. But I'll be darned if that's how I didn't grow. And I did. I certainly grew. But they were completely supportive of me all the way, the whole time. So those folks, I still reminisce about them to this day and wonder how they're doing if they haven't left. I think most of them unfortunately have left. Well, the time is up. Going back to one of the other questions is, do we ever regret any of the positions that we take on? No, I believe that everything is there for a reason. We take on a particular position, whether we like it or not, know it or not, look forward to it or not, but that is the perfect timing for each and every one of us to take on the responsibilities that set forth for us. I have no regrets whatsoever in taking on that very, very early role of the president, and it certainly helped me to grow. And I give thanks to those folks. They were so inspiring for me. And I really, really admire them to this day. And to this day, I try to pass on those supportive areas to other members who join Toastmasters. Jeremiah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. All righty. Like I said, and I said in the chat, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and raise your hand as you go through in Zoom, and I can be able to, I'll call on you as we get through them. So for our next question, I'd actually like to go back to Ken on this. And then Ken, do you suggest that members start at area director and work through all the roles as they go through?
I do suggest it if they are so inclined to start as an area director. As a division director, it's important that you understand the duties and responsibilities of the area directors, simply because these are going to be the individuals that you are going to lead. So I think it's valuable to have that experience, but there's many members in this organization who in their careers may already lead a team of people. They may already be in a position of leadership, and they're looking to Toastmasters just to maybe advance and learn something new or something more about leadership. So there's some people that may already bring leadership skills to the table. So if you find that maybe being an area director is not for you, but you do want to be the treasurer, or you want to be in another role, then fulfill that role. You know, again, Toastmasters have so many opportunities for you to learn and grow that it may not necessarily be required for you to become an area director, but I could see the advantage of becoming an area director if you're going to then become a division director and then move on to be part of the trio or further in district leadership, because you can never get enough education. So the more, the better. But discuss it with your mentors, discuss it with others that you know, and see if that is the right fit for you, and then go from there.
Absolutely. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. And Tammy, do you want to add into that?
Yes, actually, that describes me perfectly. In my term as Division A director, I skipped being an area director. And I questioned at the time, should I be doing that? But in talking with the members that were encouraging my position in that, it really is possible. It really is possible to do. I would say that there is a disadvantage because you go into it not having maybe the knowledge of the role of the area director, but it's not impossible to gain that knowledge and learn from individuals. Like we've talked about, we have resources. So one of the things that I invested in doing prior to taking on the responsibility, even before I submitted my nomination, is I had a conversation with a few other Toastmasters that were experienced to talk about what it takes and gain an understanding of how they were successful in their year and what challenges they overcame. So I think it's about realizing what we've spoken about previously. You have resources, you have individuals with different experiences, but it's not impossible to attain and do well in those roles if you're committed.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you. All righty, we're going to move on to our next question. And this question, I got to point out one thing that Esther did not mention is Esther is actually the last past district director that was President's Distinguished District for District 12. So I think this question, which Esther, you were ranked what in the world?
We're number 13.
No, number 13 in the world whenever she was district director. So it's definitely, that's something to hang her hat on. But Esther, I want to talk about the team dynamic whenever you were district director, and how did you manage that?
I don't know what to call it, a blessing, or they were handpicked for me, these people. I had a wonderful team. Just starting with the top 3, having Angie by my side as the program quality. What I enjoyed about that relationship is we complemented each other. Wherever we lacked in skill, another one was able to complete that role. For example, up to this day, I know I've attended so many workshops on preparing flyers. I don't like flyers. Angie was my flyer lady. I told her my ideas, what I would love to see and what I envisioned, and what she would do, she would prepare a flyer for me, and it came out exactly like I envisioned. And then I had David as the club growth director, and he would also prepare his own flyers. We had all ideas. It was a synergy of ideas. And then coming down to our division directors, the beauty of it all, they were willing to learn. So when I started with the team, I put it all together. I bought them all books. I'm a junkie. I read. Daryl, I wasn't prepared for the role. I read a lot. So I got the books for everybody. We sat down and they knew exactly that we were going to follow a specific program. That was the 12-week year. And once everybody knew that we were following that, we divided up what we needed to do in little chunks. And the fortunate part was everybody bought on that idea. Our division directors, we met once a month to go through the dashboard. I wanted my team to learn the dashboard because without it, they cannot translate it to their area directors. Going down to the area directors, they were willing to learn. People attended our DECs. I kept in touch with everyone. I'm sure I drove everybody crazy. Weekly emails to show everybody a status update. I did bar graphs, the treasurer role, Angie, the Excel spreadsheet, that's me. That's me. I'm very analytical. So I did all these bar graphs and showed everybody. And the reason for that, it allowed the teams to see where they were. If maybe Division A was successful with building new labs, but they were not successful with training all the officers like we envisioned, and maybe Division B was successful in that, it showed them that they were not all just failing. There was some area of accomplishment with them. So we focused on the critical success factors of the district. And each one of them, they could see that, oh my goodness, although we're not successful with forming new clubs, but we are submitting club visits 100%. This one was successful in membership growth. Every single one of them, it was a boost of morale. That's how I try to work with the teams. And everybody just bought on, and everyone that had issues, we addressed them. I believe in reprimanding in private and praising in public. That's what built the team morale as well. Some of the issues, nobody knew about them. We addressed them behind closed doors, right, Angie? And then we showed up all happy and bubbly in public because that's how you work with people. So that's how our team was. Anna was part of that.
Sometimes we showed up in matching outfits.
Oh yes, that was the big one with ties. That I enjoyed that. That's the team that you have, you know, when you can get along, but still not agree on everything. We're not robots. People need to be able to agree to disagree, but keep that open mind and then discuss. Why do you think your idea is better than mine? Don't just complain, complain, complain. Come up with something. And then let's build up this team. And that's how we were able to do it. And then of course, beyond the team of the district leaders, like Angie said, I relied a whole lot on my past district governors. Daryl was one of the people that I called. Roz was one of those people. Tom Jameson got my calls. Sandy was also part of the New Club building team. I did not want to do this alone. Delegate, delegate, and delegate. That's what made us successful. When you work with people that make you look good, you look good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ralph, you have a question? You're still on mute.
Yes. Okay. I want to ask someone on the leadership committee what they think the biggest challenge during these COVID times in leadership in Toastmasters. What is that biggest challenge?
I'm gonna actually, if it's okay, I'd like to actually have Ken speak on that one, since Ken has had to navigate through it and still pretty familiar with it currently as immediate past district director. Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wow, that's a great question. I think the biggest challenge for me personally as a Toastmaster, and having been a Toastmaster for 13 years, the essence of this organization is about people and collaborating with people. We do it in a format now that's virtual, but it's not the same as meeting in person. We had a spring conference last year, virtual, our very first virtual spring conference. And my desire was to make it no different from any other spring conference that we've had in the past. So don't cut any corners. Everything that we would do in an in-person conference, we will do at the virtual conference. And that is what we did, but it's just simply not the same. It's simply not the same as seeing your fellow Toastmaster that you started with 14 years ago for the first time, maybe in 6 months or a year. So I think this time is really difficult because we are not able to be in each other's presence and to be social like we normally are in person. Virtual is good, and it's what we have at this time. I believe we will return to a time when we will see each other, and we're going to have a different level of appreciation for attending meetings when we get back to meeting again in person. I can guarantee you that. But to me, that is the biggest challenge, is just missing my fellow Toastmasters and the people that I see on a regular basis and collaborate with regularly. Now we have to depend on the virtual tools, emails, phone calls, texts, and things like that, but it's just not the same.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Ken. I know I'm already practicing handshaking because I think I've gotten out of practice. So I try to do it myself, and it's kind of awkward, but I'm going to practice that before we start meeting again face to face. But I also want to get Ray. Ray is currently on the District 12 staff. So Ray, how do you see, in regards to Ralph, COVID kind of changing the way that we've operated this year with some of your experience?
Thank you, Jeremiah. Before I shake hands, I make sure that the hands are clean. At any rate, I have to agree with Ken. There's something about the electrifying energy face to face that we all draw upon from off of each other. That's basic human instinct, and we have that energy. We like to be around others because there's this electrifying energy. That's part of the advantages of being a human being, is we are able to draw the energies off of one another. Of course, that includes clubs as well. One of the nice things about virtual meetings is that in a lot of cases, well, in most cases, you don't have to travel. When I was as an area director in the high desert, I ended up joining 3 clubs because number one, I love the aura of being a Toastmaster. They're some of the most positive people in the world. And so, of course, I not only wanted to be able to participate in the clubs, go to the clubs, but I ended up joining 3 of the clubs. And meeting virtually now, that cut down my travel extensively. One of the clubs that was over an hour away each way to get to it. So, of course, I love the virtual meetings. However, that one particular club, they so much enjoy the interaction with one another that when they started meeting virtually, that became quite the challenge for that particular club. On top of the fact, 3 of the members lived in remote sites where they didn't even have internet. That was their choice. However, so in order to meet, they would have to have a hotspot, and they didn't all have hotspots. So unfortunately, that had a negative impact on the particular club. And they were no longer then able to participate virtually. So there again, more a negative impact on the particular club. And to this day, a couple of us are trying to see what we can do to try to get the club up and running again, but we know it's going to be a challenge. So the point being, there's the pros, there's the cons with the current situation. It cuts back on the excessive travel for some members, but it's, as Ken indicated, it's just not quite the same. So that still has to be worked out to this day. And I know that as with other clubs, we look forward to meeting again face to face throughout this current situation. I'm sure this particular area's district is not the only one that suffered because of the consequences of the impact of the pandemic. This is all a learning experience for all of us. What the future lies in store, we're not just certain yet. We're growing. I see that people are still getting together virtually, a slightly different dynamic, but growing nonetheless. So for the high desert, that was quite a challenge as far as members continuing to get together like that. We're still in the growing process, and we'll see what the total outcome is. Jeremiah.
Thank you so much, Ray. I want to speak on that real quick too, in regards to COVID and everything, because that is a very valid point. And I had the opportunity last year. I don't know if it was a good or a bad thing, but it's important to always remember that we are the ones that dictate, as leaders, we dictate how things affect us. We could not control what COVID brought us last year as a group, as an organization, and as a person. We could not control. What we could control is how how we changed what we did because of that. And one thing that we did last year is we empowered our teams to start putting together district conferences, to put together speech contests, and we tried to keep the normal, like Ken was saying, with how they kept the normal conference. It's a different Toastmasters. It really is. But at the end of the day, we controlled how we took it and how we let it affect us. If we said that this isn't the same Toastmasters and and we just made it doom and gloom, and we made it that we couldn't succeed because of COVID, we let that excuse become our reason that we failed. But instead, what we did is we focused on what can we do to improve and grow from this. And that's an important lesson in leadership, and probably one of the biggest lessons that I ever learned in leadership. It's important to understand that you control how you can act. And as a leader, you can decide whether or not you're going to let that hurt you. So that was just something I think Angie wants to add to it. And then Anna, we're going to go to your question next. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to piggyback on that, because what happened is it forced us to learn this whole virtual world quickly. And what I think it'll do for us in the future when we can meet is a lot of these roles, there are a lot of meetings that happen. And some leaders can feel a little bit overwhelmed because you have to drive here, drive there. And Ray mentioned being able to be more involved in things because he doesn't have to travel as much. Well, there are some meetings that could then be done virtually because we've all learned how to do this. Regular trio meetings or various district roles, chairs, like maybe conference planning, things where you're meeting all the time. Maybe you have to meet every week. You could do a one in person and then do a virtual meeting for the next 5 weeks and then do another in person, because sometimes it's difficult with our busy lives to get all of those meetings in. But if you could just walk into your office, join a meeting real quick, plan the conference, and get that done in an hour rather than an hour drive, because District 12 is pretty large. And if you are serving from Barstow and your partner on a committee is serving in Temecula, that's a drive. And you meet in the middle and it's still a drive. So I think this will help us in the future to be able to navigate through a lot of these meetings that can take a lot of time. And perhaps it will entice more leaders because they won't have to give up all of that time on the freeways.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. Great question, Ralph. Great question. Anna, you had a question for our panel.
It was a statement. What I learned from this virtual experience, that we have learned to travel. I have been to clubs in Italy. I have been to Germany. I just went this past week to Cairo, where the president, Richard Peck, was there. And I got to listen to him, and it's a YouTube, it was live for everyone to see. This experience I would not have had if we were not doing this virtually. So yes, it is different. Yes, we do learn better, maybe to be better communicator when we are in front of an audience. But oh my God, this experience that we're going through this year, it's been an amazing, exciting way to deal with it. Of course, that's my choice. I go and seek things, and I go in the different countries. I could be staying on my sofa watching TV and then only meeting once a week with my club. I got excited that I was able to go and visit these other clubs over there. And I really encourage everyone to do that, because I have learned different things on how they run their meetings, that I'm kind of, oh, let me take a note of that. It's a good thing to do with my club or with my members. Anyway, it was just a statement of this excitement of traveling from the comfort of my own home.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So we're gonna have one more question. I'm gonna ask each one of our panelists this question. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload a link to my OneDrive. You are more than welcome to click that link. It will give you all the documents that you need to be able to fill out to run for either division director, club growth director, program quality director, or district director. All of those positions, we are currently accepting applications. If you have interest in area director, please feel free to fill out that paperwork, and we can make sure that the new incoming district director gets that also, since that is an appointed position. You will also get a copy of my email, so that way you can be able to email those documents to me, and then we will be in contact. All right. So the last question I have for each one of our panel, and we'll start with Tammy and work our way through everybody, is Tammy, why should somebody take on district leadership?
It is an amazing experience. Like I said, I made so many connections, and like I mentioned before, I really grow from leading because I learned so much in every single instance. So I had 5 area directors. When I was in that role, I applied that situational leadership, because as you work with individuals, you get to know exactly what the needs are and how to connect with them and communicate with them. And I would definitely say that with each instance, it helped me to grow as a leader, not only within Toastmasters, but professionally. And again, I agree with what's been said here today. This is the place to do it. Toastmasters gives you that ability to fail and succeed. So with that, you've already won. by pursuing the experience.
Great, thank you so much. Ray, same question.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And for the sake of my ears, please repeat the question.
Why should somebody take on district leadership?
One of the advantages of taking on the leadership in Toastmasters, again, is the opportunity to grow, to learn, not only to make connections, and you certainly will, but see the other side of the coin. Often, as in any position, we take a biased perspective of what we're doing, but once you step into a leadership position, not only do you retain the positionality that you currently have, but now you're taking a different perspective, a viewpoint of things that we may have just not, we may have taken for granted previously, we may have overlooked. Now you're stepping into the whole gamut and you're taking on a whole new perspective from all sides. You want to see everyone grow. You want to see opportunity for all. You want to grow, but you want to see others grow as well. So taking on a leadership position in Toastmasters provides that opportunity. It's one of the best positions, I believe, in any organization, because you grow as an individual, but you help others to do the same thing in the process. You're learning a worldwide organization that's known for developing leadership and presentation skills. So I think this is one of the greatest opportunities for anyone who's desiring to grow, desiring to learn, and desiring to help others in the process.
Awesome, thank you so much. Obviously, my dog wants to chime in on this, as you can hear. Esther, same question.
This is Toastmasters, where leaders are made. For me, it's about the transferable skills. What I learned, and this may sound like a selfish or self-serving approach, what I learned, the skills that I took on from having served in Toastmasters allowed me to become a better business owner. I learned teamwork, I learned collaboration, marketing skills. And if you don't see where marketing skills come in, when you form a new club, as an area director, that's why I started building clubs. I learned marketing skills there, negotiating, being able to speak up, confidence. And once you are stretched, you can never go back. It becomes sort of a little addiction that you have, but it's a beautiful addiction because there are no side effects. It's just growth. And for me, I learned that you become a better leader through serving. The concept of servant leadership has been something that I learned and took on from Toastmasters. I learned about it, immersed myself in it, and it's more of a paying it forward. When I first got into this, I came in replacing somebody. I did not set out to become an area director or anything else. At the club level, I met beautiful people who, I had a wonderful mentor who kept saying, be ready for this, be ready for this. Every single meeting, be ready, be ready. And ultimately, when the area director dropped out, she called on me and said, we need a replacement. I did not know about all these credits that you get, but all I said was yes. Just like Kent says, develop a habit to say yes. And when I said yes, I met some good people. Bob Palmer, he taught me how to put together a speech contest. That's organization skills. And then as I moved on to become a division director from area director, then I learned how to manage people. It's a skill you can use in a job. From there, as a secretary, you learn how to put together good notes, listening skills. I did statistician, I missed that role. You learn how to put together numbers, measuring yourself, benchmarks. How do you succeed? How can you see your success? It's through these little benchmarks. Through program quality, putting together a contest. District director, how to manage money. You may not know how to put together a budget. Your treasurer is there for you. Your audit committee is there for you, but you learn all those skills and you put it all together and say, And in the process, you learn more about yourself, how to work with people, what areas you need to work on you as well, versus just giving out instructions to other people. This is your time. Don't miss it. Immerse yourself. Serve District 12. District 12 has served you. At the club level, we have the Toastmasters promise. When you are called upon to serve, will you say yes as a club officer? At the district level, that's what we're asking of you. You know the rules now. You've been familiar with Toastmasters. This is your opportunity. Don't miss it. Kent also said opportunity comes, what is it, wearing overalls? That was Edison who said that. It's not wearing overalls today. It's right here. Fill the form, send it to Jeremiah, and look at the growth. We are here to support you. We are only a phone call away. You don't do this alone. That's the beauty of Toastmasters.
Great. Thank you so much, Esther. All righty, Angie, same question.
Thank you, Jeremiah. I don't know that I can add to these three excellent answers before me, but Daryl said we don't know what we're getting into until we're there. But I really feel that we grow so much more through experience. And we can learn to be better today than we were yesterday and be better tomorrow than we are today. We meet a lot of fantastic people. We grow through our local relationships. And as Ken mentioned earlier, the global relationships. I got to tell you, my birthday starts about 24 hours before my birthday because I start getting happy birthdays from Australia, New Zealand, and I wake up to 100 happy birthdays on Facebook, and that is all because of Toastmasters. And it's a great feeling that you know all of these people and you continue to stay connected. So relationships are really the special part, I think, of Toastmasters and leadership. And the skills, Esther mentioned the skills. There's no way I could be a director of HR for a company of almost 400 people had I not had the experiences I had in Toastmasters. From area director, where you're really building relationships with members, all the way through to immediate past district director, where you begin that advisory role. So we learn to give our best, but I want to mention one thing that we don't often talk about at these emerging leader breakfasts. And that is oftentimes we are running against others. We're saddened if we lose because we were so excited and we started planning. We had that whole year in our head and we're let down. And I wanted to bring this up today because there's a lesson in that. I ran against Esther Pathla as Lieutenant Governor of Marketing and lost. And it was the best experience of the leadership journey because I would not have it any other way than to work with Esther for the next 4 years after that and learn from her. And things happen that way for a reason. It would not have been the same had I won that year. And to remember this and look for the silver linings, should you run and you don't win, because fantastic things can still happen in that year. And the next year may be a better year for you. And don't give up. Run again. And I can't say any more about why you should do it. So I wanted to add that little tidbit. Do it. Learn from it, grow with it, and your personal life will grow, your work life will grow, your speaking, your communicating, possibly even your communication with your family will grow. All of these things, you have to do it. Jeremiah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angie. All righty, Daryl, you're up.
Okay, I would just like to start out by saying, why should you do it? So you can live. Now, when I was a youngster, I was told that many people go to college after college at the age of 25, they just sit back and their mind is dead. They wait around for the next 50 years for the body to catch up with them. Now, if you will accept the challenge of being a district leader, whether it's at area, division, district level, or even club level. You will keep your mind active and you will continue to live. And no matter how long it is, you can continue to live and learn. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to just say, I never wanted to be the Lieutenant Governor of Marketing. The year that I became the Lieutenant Governor of Marketing, we could not find anyone who was willing to accept the job because we had some issues with the trio the previous year. I finally said, okay, I'll do it. And then when it came to LGBT, I really was saying to myself, if anybody will run against me, I will be very happy to step down. It wasn't until after I was LGBT and my focus was to try for education of our members, to growth of our members. And that year, we wound up second or third in the world as far as percentage of membership who attained the competent communicator or the advanced communicator. I guess it was competent Toastmaster, advanced Toastmaster way back then. We were second or third in each of those categories throughout the world. So ladies and gentlemen, I felt that I was a success on what I wanted to do. But that year, when it came to going for district governor, nobody else put up for it. But I said, you know what? I think I want it. And it was essentially a situation of being willing to say yes when everybody else was saying no. And if you want to grow, say yes. Take that word no out of your vocabulary. And that's all I can say, because you will continue to live and grow and make more friends than you could ever imagine in your life. Mr.
Awesome.
Jeremiah.
Thank you so much, Daryl. All righty, we're going to wrap it up with our last panelist, Ken, if you could answer that question.
All right, is it legal for me to just say everything that everybody else has already
It's
said?
little for you. It's totally
Is that
legal
a-
for you to say ditto.
Is that a legitimate?
If it works for
response?
Christmas lights, it works for this.
So many great responses and absolutely ditto everything that everyone has said. But I want you to could consider this. Life is not about walking up to the edge and looking. It's about walking up to the edge and jumping, being in free fall. We try to predict what the experience is going to be like. It's not going to be anything you may ever be able to imagine. It's going to be vastly different. Just simply don't know what you're going to experience. But you're guaranteed to come out on the other end better, smarter, stronger, faster, better relationships. You're guaranteed. There's no one that's part of this panel. There's no one that has been part of district leadership that you would talk to that would tell you otherwise. Having spent a year doing anything will make you better. So I encourage you to become part of district leadership, because it's about being in the game, not sitting around watching what everybody else is doing. It's about being in the game. Is it going to be tough? Sometimes, yes. Are you going to be faced with experiences that you've never had before and you're not going to know what to do? Absolutely. But that's when you pick up the phone and you reach out to your support system, your endless support system, to the past district leaders in this wonderful district. It's about being active and about being involved. So I encourage you to do it. Do it. It will be one of the best decisions of your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much to our panel for helping today, participating, Ken for being our keynote speaker. If you look in your chat, what you'll see is, once again, you'll see a link that takes you directly to my OneDrive. Inside that OneDrive has the information on each one of the roles that you can be able to read about each one of the roles that we are accepting applications for district leadership, along with the forms necessary I left you my email address, my phone number. However, we can be able to help as a team. That's our role. Is we want to be able to help you succeed. We want to be able to help ensure that District 12 is set up in a position to be able to be as successful as possible that we can next year. With that, I am going to hand conduct of the meeting over to Jose Preciado, our District Director, for his final comments and closing out the meeting. Mr. District Director, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. Say yes. Say yes to opportunity. What an amazing time we have had, isn't it? It's the only thing I can say is thank you for being here today. Being here today shows what a leader you are already. And I hope that you take all this inspiring words from the panel, and especially from Ken. What an amazing speech you had. Thank you so much, Ken, for your awesome words of encouragement and inspiring. And I hope that everything you heard today will inspire you to say yes, to start thinking, okay, how can I best serve District 12 next year? And take that application, fill it up, and send it back to Jeremiah. And really, this is an amazing time. It has been everything that everybody has said is right on. It has been challenging because it's different. It's totally different. I was joking with the trio a couple of weeks ago. I've said, of all the years that you could choose to become a part of the trio, you chose this year. But what an amazing growth experience we have had as a trio. And I can speak personally. I had absolutely no idea of how to use all these gadgets that we are using now. I remember back in March, Jeremiah and I spending time trying to figure out breakout rooms and Zoom rooms and holding rooms and all these different gadgets. But we learned it and we're here. And eventually we'll go back to our regular meetings and we'll be able to shake hands and hugs. And I'm Hispanic, so I love hugs and things like that. So we will go back to that. In the meantime, we are here. But I'm telling you, everything you heard is true. Once you take a leadership position, you will never go back. You will never be the same. You will stretch and you will never go back. So thank you again, every one of you, for being here. I hope to see you on some position on next year. And that's really all I want to say. So Jeremiah, I'll give it back to you so you can close it up. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.
Great job. All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for attending, and please feel free to contact me. We are looking for leaders, and I definitely hope that we can be able to see each of you maybe one day actually join us on this panel and help us lead our district to further success. And with that, thank you all so much for coming. Please be safe, okay? Walk carefully back to your home couch or wherever. I would say drive carefully, but that's kind of hard right now. But just be careful, be safe, and I look forward to seeing you all here very soon. Thank you, guys.